So circulatory system is a very important system in the body of living organisms which performs the following functions. What do you mean by complex organisms? Organisms which have a better body organization than compared to the simple organisms. Circulatory system is of two types. One is called the open circulatory system, the other one is called the closed circulatory system. Hello everyone, welcome back to session 1 of this interesting chapter called Body Fluids and Circulation. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidyashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. We are moving on to yet another very important physiological process and a very prime process we can say, that is body fluids and circulation. Let us move on to this very interesting chapter called Body Fluids and Circulation. By seeing this picture, you might understand that what is this chapter all about? It deals with what? Blood circulation. All of us know how important this circulatory system is for the human body. As we know, we require nutrients, we require oxygen and other essential elements need to be transported from one part of the body to the another part of the body by various mechanisms. I think all of us know many animals have different mechanisms to transport these nutrients, oxygen and essential elements from one part of the body to the other part of the body. So one such mechanism that is involved in the transport of nutrients, oxygen and essential elements is the circulatory system, or we also call it as blood circulatory system, because here some fluids are used. What is that fluid that is used for circulation? That is none other than called the blood. So circulatory system is a very important system in the body of living organisms which performs the following functions. Now let us see what are the very important functions of the circulatory system. Hope you remember when you studied a chapter called Animal Kingdom, circulatory system are of two types. What are they? One is called as the open circulatory system and the second one is called as the closed circulatory system. What is the difference between this open and closed circulatory system? Some organisms have open circulatory system and some have closed circulatory system. So whenever we use the word called blood circulation, I think definitely one very important thing comes into our mind, that is the blood vessels. What are blood vessels? Namely the arteries and veins. Arteries and veins. Here you can see the arteries and this is a beautiful heart. As we know, heart is the principal organ of the principal pumping organ of the body. Why it is called as a pumping organ? It pumps blood. And imagine how important heart is for a human body, because it does the main process of circulation, blood circulation. As I said, circulatory system is of two types. One is called the open circulatory system, the other one is called the closed circulatory system. What do you mean by open circulatory system? Do you think all the organisms are of the same type? Definitely not. Each organism varies from its body structure, may it be morphological or anatomical structure, and those organisms which do not have blood vessels, but instead the heart pumps the blood and the cells and the tissues are directly bathed into it. Such type of circulation is called as open circulatory system. Then what do you mean by closed circulatory? For example, like human body, a presence of blood vessels. So the heart pumps the blood and thereon the blood is carried by the blood vessels, namely the arteries and veins. Such a type of circulatory system is called as the closed circulatory system. As we know that in particularly in multicellular organisms, there are definite systems to carry on the process of various physiological processes, and one very important physiological process is the blood circulation. So circulatory system, as I said, is a very important system in the body of living organisms which performs the following functions. So what is the function of the circulatory system? As I said, our body requires nutrients, and very important is what? Oxygen. To where for cellular respiration, where the organic compounds are broken down into simpler soluble absorbable molecules, thereby releasing energy. And all of us know we need energy to do work, and for various physiological processes also energy is very important. And for that carrying of oxygen, who does the carrying of oxygen? It is the blood. As we all know, blood is red in color, and it is having a very important red pigment called hemoglobin, which is a carrier of oxygen. We all know that blood is a liquid connective tissue. So it is a very important body fluid of the it is one of the very important body fluid. So circulatory system is involved in what? Distribution of nutrients and oxygen to all parts of the body. And not only for the distribution of or for the transport of nutrients and oxygen and essential elements, but also to collect the waste that are produced in the body by the cells. So collection of waste and harmful products from all parts of the body and bringing them back to the concerned organs for the removal from the body. And distribution of various hormones and other substances secreted by different glands of the body. So see how important this circulatory system is, as it is in the form of circulation, transportation, as it is involved in the mechanism of transporting. It is very much involved in transporting the nutrients and oxygen to all parts of the body, collection of waste and harmful products from all parts of the body, and bringing them back to the concerned organs of the for the removal from the body. I think all of us know human heart is called as a double pump because it does two very important circulation. That is carrying the impure blood to the lungs for purification, and at the same time the purified blood from the lungs is coming back to the heart. From there on, it is supplied through the main supplier of blood called aorta to all the remaining parts of the body. See, imagine how the impurities from the lower parts of the body and the upper parts of the body are carried by two very important main veins called superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So circulatory system is also involved in what? Collection of waste and harmful products that are produced in the body. As you know, there are some toxic substances also produced from the body where they need to be eliminated. For example, like urea. Urea is also carried through blood and eliminated through the very important system called excretory system through nephrons in the form of urine. So, and nitrogenous waste, that is one of the nitrogenous waste. Gaseous waste is carbon dioxide. So, elimination of gaseous waste, that is the carbon dioxide, elimination of the nitrogenous waste, that is urea, carrying of the nutrients, carrying of the oxygen, the essential nutrient elements and other elements, all is made possible by this very important system called the circulatory system. And distribution of various, I think all of us know, we have very different endocrine glands. Like we have adrenal, pituitary, hypothalamus, thyroid, parathyroid, testes, ovary, producing very important hormones. Hormones are nothing but chemical substances which have a great role to play in carrying on the various activities of the body. So how are these hormones are carried? They are also carried through the blood because the endocrine glands are called ductless glands, where the secretions don't pass through ducts, but instead the secretions are directly poured into the blood and bloodstream and thereon carried to the different parts of the body. See how important the circulatory system is. So circulatory system is a very important process or a mechanism for transport of various nutrients, oxygen and essential elements in the body, and it is also involved in collection of waste and harmful products that are produced from the body for their elimination, and also it carries very important hormones that are produced by the endocrine glands to the respective target organs and bring about the process of various physiological processes. So imagine how important this heart is. As we all know that circulatory system is of two types. One is called the open circulatory system. The other one is called the closed circulatory system. So what is the main difference between the open and closed circulatory system? In case of open circulatory system, blood vessels are absent. So the heart is going to pump the blood. From there on, the cells and the tissues are directly bathed into the blood, because there are no blood vessels to carry the blood. Hence it is called open. Closed circulatory system like human beings, where there is presence of blood vessels. So the heart pumps the blood. From there on, the blood vessels, namely the arteries and veins, carry the blood and supply it to the different parts of the body. Moving on, but do you think the circulatory system is of the same type in all the organisms? No, definitely not. See how beautiful this heart is. Such a beautiful organ and a principal organ of the body, we can say. And you know, heart is called as a double pump. You know, it does two very important circulation, hence double circulation. Hence it is called as a heart is called as a double pump. Heart is called as a double pump. It is pumping blood 2 times. And we know how important heart is, and now with the advancement made in the field of science and technology, even heart also can be transplanted. That is in the process of organ transplantation. So very important organ is the heart. Heart has to be maintained properly. Then in simple organ, as I said, the circulatory system is not of the same type in all the organisms. Like we know, we use the word called lower organisms and higher organisms. What do you mean by lower organ? Do you think they are lower? No, the body organization is not that much well developed like in higher organisms. So body organization is not well developed in case of lower organisms when compared to the higher organ. So in simple organisms like sponges and other water circulates and others, water circulates from their surroundings through their body cavities and brings about the exchange of these substances. See, imagine these simpler organisms. See how the animals have evolved from simplicity to complexity. Like from the porifera to class Mammalia, you can see the advancement that is made in the body organization. So though they are lower organisms, with the minimum mechanism what they have, they try to carry on their physiological processes. So like for example, in simple organisms like sponges, which are aquatic animals, so water circulates from their surroundings through their body cavity. I think, for example, in sponges, you might have come across a gastrovascular cavity, cylindron, right? So in that case, you can see that the gastrovascular cavity and that brings about the exchange of these substances. And in complex organisms, what do you mean by complex organisms? Organisms which have a better body organization than compared to the simple organisms. So in complex organisms, special fluids within their bodies to transport such material. They have what? Special body fluids. They have special body fluid. So in complex organisms which have a better body organization, as we all know that how advantageous it is for a multicellular organism to have organ system. So as we know, in human body, there are different organs to perform different functions. And there is a coordination between the organs for their meticulous functioning. For example, you can come across the blood circulation is made possible by the lungs as well as the heart. So the coordination between the lungs and the heart makes possible the circulatory system to be more successful. So in complex organisms, there are special fluids within their bodies to transport such materials. Maybe the nutrients, maybe the oxygen, or maybe the waste. It might be the gaseous waste, or it might be the gaseous waste in the form of carbon dioxide, or nitrogenous waste in the form of urea. Then blood, as I said, blood is the most commonly used body fluid by most of the higher organisms, including human beings. Other than blood, even lymph also is another body fluid which also helps in the transport of certain substances. So blood, what is blood? Already you have studied. Blood is a liquid connective tissue. Liquid connective tissue. Liquid connective tissue, and blood is made up of plasma. The liquid part of blood is called plasma, and the blood cells, that is the corpuscles. So 50 to 55% is plasma, which contains 90 to 95% of water. And the remaining is of blood cells or corpuscles, namely RBC, WBC, and blood platelets and blood platelets. So, in simple organisms like sponges and other organisms, water circulates from their surroundings through their body cavities and brings about the exchange of these substances. So, in complex organisms, special fluid within their bodies to transport such materials. So, blood is the most commonly used body fluid by most of the higher organisms, including human beings. As we know, blood is a liquid connective tissue which is made up of the liquid part of blood is called plasma, and plasma without clotting factor is called as serum. Right? Then it has blood cells or corpuscles, in other words we use, and the three very important blood cells are RBC or erythrocytes. So RBC, or we use the word called erythrocytes, leukocytes and thrombocytes. So these are the three very important blood cells or blood corpuscles also. Then lymph is another body fluid which also helps in the transport of the certain substances. Now blood, see here you can see the blood cells. So blood is made up of plasma and it is made up of corpuscles, or it is otherwise called the blood cells. So blood, what is blood? It is a special connective tissue that circulates in vascular system. What do you mean by vascular system? Vascular system means that with the help of the supply, with the help of blood vessels, namely the arteries and the veins. Arteries and the veins. So blood is a special connective tissue. As we all know, blood is red in color. Why blood is red in color? Because here you can see the corpuscles, blood corpuscles, right? So why it is red in color? Because of the presence of a red pigment called hemoglobin. Red pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. And all of us know that hemoglobin is a carrier of oxygen. When it is carrying oxygen, it is called as oxyhemoglobin. And at the same time, it picks up the impurity of the cell, that is carbon dioxide, when it is called as carboxyhemoglobin. See, so very important is blood. And blood, it is a special connective tissue that circulates in vascular system of man and other vertebrates, consisting of fluid matrix called plasma, and formula elements means blood cells or corpuscles like RBCs, WBC and platelets. So blood is a special connective tissue that circulates in vascular system of man, man and other vertebrates, consisting of fluid matrix called plasma, and formula elements means like blood cells or corpuscles, namely the WBC, that is the RBC means erythrocytes, WBC means leukocytes, colorless cells. Blood platelets means thrombocytes. I think all of us know there is a clotting factor in the blood which brings about the process of clotting. What will happen if, I think all of us know, when there is a wound or a small injury, there is or a cut, you can see the blood oozing out, coming out. But at the same time, immediately it clots. So when the blood comes in contact with atmospheric oxygen, there is a process of formation of a clot called fibrin which stops the blood from oozing. And I think all of us know what will happen if there is continuous oozing of blood. Finally, the person will collapse. So blood is such a very important system. And blood circulation was discovered by William Harvey. Then plasma. As I said, plasma. The liquid part of blood is called as plasma. The liquid part of blood is called plasma. And when we remove clotting factors from plasma, then it is called as serum. So here you can see red blood cells, white blood cells and blood platelets, and this is the plasma. Plasma is usually yellow in color. So what is plasma then? As I said, plasma, blood constitutes around the liquid part of blood or lymph, which is straw colored viscous fluid. It is viscous fluid. Viscous means sticky like. Viscous fluid constituting nearly how much? 55% of blood. So blood is made up of 55% of plasma. So major component of blood is what? The liquid part of blood called plasma. As I said, it is a fluid. Blood is nothing but a fluid, and it has around how much? 90 to 90% of plasma is water and 6 to 8% of proteins. So 90 to 92% is what? Of plasma is made up of water, and 6 to 8% it is made up of proteins. And fibrinogen, globulin and albumins are the major proteins found in the plasma. So 6 to 8% are proteins. So proteins are in the form of what? Fibrinogen, globulin, albumin are all the major proteins found in the plasma. Then fibrinogen, as we know, it is very, very important clotting factor. So fibrinogen is required in blood clotting. Blood clotting, or it is also called as coagulation. Coagulation can also be called as blood clotting. As I said, what will happen if blood doesn't clot? There will be continuous oozing of blood, and the person may die. So what is plasma? The liquid part of blood or lymph, which is straw colored viscous fluid constituting nearly 55% of blood, is called as plasma. And plasma contains how much? 90 to 92% of plasma is made up of water, and 6 to 8% of proteins. Proteins are in the form of fibrinogen, globulin, albumins. These are all the major proteins found in plasma, and all of us know fibrinogen is required in blood clotting process, or also it is called as blood coagulation. Then globulins, the proteins, the blood proteins, we can call them as the blood proteins. So globulins involved in defense mechanism of the body. See, all of us know how important blood is for our body in defending a body from the disease-causing organisms. So usually microorganisms enter our body, but who is going to protect our body from the disease-causing organism? It is the antibodies. So antibodies are found in where? In the blood plasma, right? And antigens are found on the RBC membrane. And it is the antigen and antibody reaction which is responsible for the formation of blood group. I think all of us know blood groups. Each one of us have a particular blood group, and all of us know how important it is for us to know about the blood groups. What will happen if we don't know at the time of emergency, at the time of need of blood? I think definitely the blood either from the donor or from the recipient. Who is called as a donor? One who donates the blood is called as a donor, and who is called as a recipient? The one who receives the blood is called as a recipient, should match. And if there is mismatching of blood and blood clotting, and we are going for a blood transfusion to save a person and not to kill a person. So in that case, if mismatching happens, then definitely the person is going to die. So the one who is donated with the blood is going to die. So that is the reason why we should be very careful about the blood groups, as we already know that there are 3 types of blood groups, 4 types, sorry, A, B, AB and O group. And all of us know AB is called as a universal recipient and O is called as a universal donor, right? So this blood group is mainly based on what? Antigen, antibody reaction. It is based on the antigen and antibody reaction. So globulin, that is the plasma which constitutes around 6 to 8% of plasma proteins, are globulins, and fibrinogen, albumins. So globulins are involved in defense mechanism of the body, and albumin helps in osmotic balance of the body. See how important these plasma proteins are also. Then plasma also contains small amount of minerals, glucose, amino acids, lipids and etc. So minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonate, chloride, chlorine, all these are found in the plasma. So plasma without the clotting factor is called as what? Serum. So globulins are involved in defense mechanism of the body. Then albumin helps in osmotic balance of the body. Plasma also contains small amounts of minerals, glucose, amino acids, lipids, etc. Then minerals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, bicarbonate are also present. Plasma without the clotting factor is called as what? Serum. Hope you have understood the first very important session of this very interesting physiological process and a very important process of the body, namely the body fluids and circulation. And this is most of the physiological chapters that are introduced into the first PUC syllabus is about human physiology. So how important it is, not something very new to us, because these are the important physiological processes which is happening inside our body, and the knowledge what we are going to gain is really going to help us out in many ways. So as I keep telling that most of the chapters that are introduced into first PUC syllabus are not only important from examination point of view, but very important from knowledge point of view. See how beautiful processes are going on inside our body. You have already come across digestion and absorption, breathing and exchange of gases, how important even that physiological process is. And moving on to the next very important is the body fluids and circulation. I'll be back with some more interesting concepts of this chapter in the coming session. Till then, goodbye and thank you.